This is Dates and Mates with your host, Damona Hoffman.
Hello, lovers. Welcome to Dates and Mates, the first show of 2018. It's a new year, and hopefully it's a new you. I'm trying to do a little self-improvement this year as well. I spent a couple days in my daughter's closet and in my closet doing a big purge. You know, they say that with feng shui, if you have too much clutter and too much stuff, it really keeps the chi from flowing. So I want the positive energy to flow in for me this year, and I want it to flow in for you too. So that's why we're going to be talking about a new year reset and the power of positivity in your dating life. I mean, so many times, Producer Thomas, people come to me and they're like, I want a man, but then they're like, but men are all jerks.
Trash.
And men are trash. Yeah. And men always do this. And men treat me like this. And I hate it when guys do this. And I'm like, wait, how about some positivity? Yeah, and approaching it with positivity really can attract that sort of positivity to you. If you approach it with negativity, you're going to attract more of the same. We talked a little bit about that last week, but now we're going to talk about real techniques you can do to uplift your vibration and to bring more positivity into your love life and your dating life. And as always, my friends, we have headlines, including a controversial change to OkCupid that has users up in arms. And also, we'll talk about the most popular dating day of the year. Hint, 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 it's coming up very soon. And we have news about the first celebrity engagement of 2018. We'll also be asking some thought-provoking questions in Technically Dating, including how to handle an office crush and what to do if the text banter isn't flowing. You know I love the texting. I've just done a complete 180 on the texting. I used to hate the texting, but now I see the power of text, and I'll show you how to get your relationship amped up if the text banter is falling a little bit flat. But I'm not doing it alone, my friends. No, 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 no. I have a guest co-host for today. She is Evin Rose Lipman. And let me tell you how she got to be a love coach and join us on this beautiful show. You see, she was stuck in a corporate sales job in her 20s, and she realized she was trapped in a routine and needed to get her groove and her inner light back. And with the help of friends and loved ones, she came here to the beautiful state of California and became a life coach, hoping to bring others joy and help them establish and nurture meaningful and authentic personal relationships. So now she's a coach, not a coast. She's a coach on the coast.
There you go.
And she hosts gatherings for women in LA. And she's a leader of a passionate online community all about bringing more love and positivity your way. Please give big smooches to Evin Lipman.
Thank you so much.
I'm so glad you're here. And I'm so glad that you are about positivity, girlfriend, because like I said in the intro, I just feel like... there's just so much negativity out there.
So much.
You know, we get stuck in the social media of it all. And even just with the frequency of dates that people are going on, it can get really exhausting. And I know a lot of people had a little break over the holidays and are coming into dating fresh for 2018 and want to have a new approach. What's the first thing someone should do to reset their dating life and have a different experience with finding love this year?
Yeah, I think the first thing is to really reset our intentions, our attitudes. So there's so much emphasis, with resolutions and goals. We are thinking about, okay, I have to go on this many dates a week. I really need to get back online. All of this dread that comes along with these goals we've set for ourselves, right? And that's probably what you did last year. And if you're doing it again this year,
how'd that work out for you, huh?
Right?
Right.
So the big thing is, instead of focusing on all the shoulds, have tos, like the misery of it, is really making the resolution, the intention to shift our attitude this year, to intentionally bring in that positivity, that hope into our dating lives. That's what's going to make the difference.
It will make the difference, but so much easier said than done. I find that I was dealing with this with my daughter yesterday. She would be really happy to know that I've talked about her like the last 3 shows in a row. But I find that negative thoughts really compound. Like she said to me, it was on Tuesday, she said, I had a bad day. And I'm like, well, what happened? And she's like, well, this boy said this thing to me, and this person wouldn't let me play. And then she was like ranking her day, and she's like, my day is at 55%. And I said, that's more than half.
There you go.
That's good. And then she was like, 45.
Right, but it's like, okay, great. What happened in that 45% of the day that was positive?
Right. And also like not letting those negative thoughts continue to build on each other. Because I said, well, you're only counting, the 45%, but then can it go back up when you have other good things that happen?
Right.
We're not counting those things sometimes.
Right.
We're only focusing on the negative. What's up with that?
I think that's how we're programmed, right? We see threat, right? Like biologically, we're programmed to see threat, to see what's wrong. And that really doesn't serve us anymore because we live in a society now where there isn't constant threat to our survival in the same way that there was for our ancestors. So we have to be really intentional about noticing what went right in our day, right? Like what's the love that's already in our lives?
But Evan, isn't there a little bit, if we're really being honest, isn't there a little bit of wanting to create that intensity of needing to survive something in our love lives? Like I really feel like that is why a lot of women are addicted to bad boys and you know that there's that book, you know, Men Love Bitches, because we get addicted to that feeling of the ups and the downs and the risk and the reward, and that ultimately I feel like it's a road to defeat in love, isn't it?
For sure. We get addicted to the drama, right? And we equate that drama to passion, to intensity. We think that's what love is. Essentially, if that's the relationship experience we've had until now, and that was certainly my MO for a lot of years, that becomes what we're looking for. That's our script. But if we don't want more of the same, and for any of us here who are setting resolutions, new year, new you, we're saying that we don't want the same roller coaster that we've been on, then we have to find a way to get off and to start looking for those healthier, more stable paths that might not be as, you know, the highs might not be as high right off the bat, but that's going to give us that consistency that we're looking for, that safety and love that we're looking for.
So you said you had done that in the past.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to hear your personal story of how you got off of that emotional roller coaster.
Yeah. I mean, I think it takes going through at least a few rounds of those kinds of relationships. And starting to notice, wow, this really doesn't feel healthy for me, even though it's exciting, right? Even though when you don't hear back from him for a month and then he reaches back out, it feels so good because you've been in this anxious spiral for the last month. But is that sustainable? Is that the kind of partnership that you'd want to build a future around, right? So first, for me, it was just having that realization of like, whoa, this is this pattern that I've really fallen into. And no, this is not, you know, what I'm looking for moving forward. And then the next big step for me was, okay, so what is it that I really want in a partnership? If it isn't that crazy drama and intensity, it's the safety, it's the availability, it's someone who makes me feel cherished and respected and right on the same team, all of that. And then going out there, having dates and realizing that, okay, those people on a first date that you're going to feel that insane instant fire with are usually going to be the roller coaster type relationships. That instant heat.
I was just going to ask you then, do you believe in love at first sight? Did you hear that, you guys? That was like a big labored breath. That was a...
Because I don't want to say I don't believe in it, because I do believe that there are very rare stories out there, and I'm sure some people will respond to this. You know, everyone knows someone who had that story of that quote-unquote love at first sight. But because that's so romantic, that becomes what we're all looking for, and that's not the norm. That's not how it usually happens, right?
No, and then I feel like if you had the love at first sight, then a lot of times the roller coaster comes afterwards.
Totally.
Like, I don't believe in love at first sight. I believe in lust at first sight. Mm-hmm. I think you can feel a chemical response to someone, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're a great long-term partner for you. So I think, as we're talking about staying positive, it is that playing the long game, like you were saying earlier. It's not just like, oh, is this person the one? And putting yourself on that, that it's like a setup for disappointment. Totally. If you're seeking out those high highs, ultimately there are going to be a lot of low lows. I have a friend that's a meditation and love teacher and yogi master, and his name's Vish Iyer. He's been on the show before, and he was talking to me. He's been coaching me on meditation, which I'm still working on. That's my goal for 2018. One of the many. I try not to have too many goals because it gets a little overwhelming. Yeah. But he says, have you noticed that I don't have a lot of variation like in my emotional state? I don't have super high highs and I don't have super low lows. He's very even, and that's something that he really cultivates through mindfulness. And I think that's something we would all be well served to develop, an ability to not seek out the big ups, because if you have a big up, you're headed for a big low at some point.
Yeah, I think that's really true. And I think one kind of antidote to that is finding ways to fill ourselves up, right? Finding ways to get those little highs, those moments of joy, the love, whatever it is throughout our day on our own, outside of dates, outside of a partner, so that we don't feel so empty, so desperate when we're looking for someone.
Yeah.
Right?
What about the people that you surround yourself with? Like, I'm always asking my clients, who are you hanging with? Are you hanging with couples? Are you hanging with singles? And then what's their mindset like?
Yeah, I think that's huge. And I think it matters less if your friends or your community are singles, couples, where they are in their dating lives, and more, again, about their attitude, about their sense of optimism and hopefulness, or are they those friends? Like, we all have those girlfriends that we go to brunch with, and everyone just loves to complain and hate on the guys they've been seeing and tell all of their horror stories. And you leave. It can be fun in the moment, and you feel that sense of commiserating, but then you leave there feeling way worse, way less likely to get back out there, to log back onto your app to set up a date. You practically want to cancel all of the dates you have lined up because you're like, there's no hope. And it's really important to seek out community, to seek out support of people that are going to help affirm you and help you get excited and hopeful about the love or whatever it is that you're looking for that's ahead for you.
So let's say you have a date lined up and you're determined to not let the patterns of 2017 repeat themselves this year. Are there things that you recommend that your clients do to prepare themselves for a positive date?
Yes, totally. I call it a pre-date ritual. So it's really easy for us to go right from, let's say we're going right from work, or you've been, home all day, again, dreading this date, anticipating this date. And a lot of us do this. We talk ourselves into this place where we're like, this is going to be miserable. He's going to be disappointing. I'm going to be disappointing. Right? We come up with all of the ways in which this is going to be a negative experience. And then we get to this date with that attitude, and we put the pressure on our date to have to pull us up out of that dreary place. And sure enough, we're going to find exactly what we're looking for. We're going to find the disappointment if that's what we're setting ourselves up for. So totally, pre-date ritual. Put on some music. Music is a huge, game changer as far as our mood. Everyone
I did that this morning. Right? Yes. I haven't really been using music as much. Producer Thomas is really into music.
I am a music nerd, yes.
Maybe you can do a playlist for me, because I was like, I need some help figuring out what to listen to next and not going back to the same old, same old. Mm-hmm. But I did that this morning because I was like, it's 2018. We're gonna bring in some
energy,
positive energy. So I put on Bruno Mars because that kind of made me feel like kind of funky,
Yeah.
you know?
Get
like
the morning started.
Yeah.
Yeah, Beyonce is always in mind. And I love that you said playlist. That's such a good point, is have an actual pre-date playlist ready to go so that you're not frantically, oh, I have to find something to listen to. I need to figure out an outfit. Have those things in place already. Know what outfits make you feel really good and confident and sexy. Know what music pumps you up, makes you feel your best. Literally dance around your room. I'm not kidding, and I've done this plenty of times. Dance around your room. Light your candles, do whatever it is. It's our responsibility to get ourselves into that mood, to bring the positivity so that when we show up on that date, we're already in a good place. We're so much more likely to connect, to be relaxed, to bring out the best in our partner too.
Yeah, I have my clients do a pre-date ritual too. And one thing that I think is really important for a lot of the women that tend to come to me for coaching and listen to the show, you know who I'm talking to, they're very successful in their career. And sometimes when you're at work, you take on very masculine traits to be successful there. And I think it's really important to do an energy reset when you're walking into the date. Like, don't come in your suit with your blazer on. That is so not sexy. Just like bring a little flirty top and some earrings, just to, I call it like your superwoman change kit, so that you can shift your energy and feel different physically when you show up to that date.
I love that. I think that's so important. Even a scent, a perfume, can make you feel really different. So if you don't have time to change, and I love that, just throw on a pair of earrings. Again, it can be one song that you listen to if you just have a few minutes that you're walking over from work or Ubering over from work, right? Those little things, and giving yourself whatever pep talk you need, whatever reminder you need to release some pressure, to look forward to this experience, right? You can tell yourself, it's literally just a date. I'm just going to meet another human being, to get to know this person, to see if there's any connection. It hopefully should be fun, or at the very least, just an interesting experience.
Right. You can't control the other person, but you can control. You're responsible for your own good time. That's one of the mottos I've always lived by. So you're responsible for your own good time. And if you do your preparation work, I take that back, not work. If you do your preparation pre-date ritual, then you're setting yourself up for success. I really love that. We are so simpatico. And that is why I really want to hear what you have to say on this week's headlines.
Dee's dating dish.
People really don't like change. As much as we say in 2018, the new year, we want to reset, we want to refresh, we want to change it up. We don't really like change, do we, Evan?
Nope.
Well, Salon.com reported this week on OkCupid's name change blunder. I guess we could say blunder. Because, see, OkCupid, for the longest, they're a legacy site. That's what I call Match, OkCupid, Plenty of Fish. So the legacy sites, it was all about creating this image of yourself that you're putting out into the dating world. Then there was the shift to Tinder, and it's your real name, and it was all about authenticity. And so OkCupid, which is still very popular and still trying to innovate and keep up with modern dating trends, they said, well, if everybody's about authenticity, let's switch it up and have them actually use their real names. But people don't like change, do they, Evan?
They don't.
So there was like a essential uprising.
Yeah. An outrage.
Because they liked the anonymity, and they don't, and they really, through the anonymity, they can be really honest. Because OkCupid asks some pretty...
Like a long list of questions, right?
Yeah, some pretty detailed questions about your life.
They get in there.
They get in there, and people are like, I don't want everybody knowing my name and going and researching. So, I mean, what do you think? Because we're in this sort of paradox where we have to innovate, and online dating has to grow up, and dating apps have just disrupted the scene. But then people are sort of caught in between in wanting to have OkCupid just be what it's always been.
Yeah, Yeah, I get it. Like you said, OkCupid asks a lot more detailed questions than any other site, right? A lot about sexual history, preference, all of that. So I get not wanting to have your full name attached to that survey. At the same time, anything that we're putting out there on the internet is searchable, right? You're using your pictures, hopefully your real pictures, right?
Hopefully.
I mean, people are going to see you on there. I think that we have to acknowledge that anything that we're putting on the internet is public facing, right? So we need to be careful. If there's something, if they ask specific questions that you're like, I would really not want coworkers or strangers, of course, are going to see your profile. Knowing these details, don't answer those questions.
That's the thing that I feel like a lot of millennials miss is that it's all out there.
It's all out there.
Like your Facebook, your Snapchat, your Instagram, even if you're private, it's out there somewhere. And there's this feeling of being able to have like a secret identity that will never reach the light of day. And I think it's a ruse. I think we're lying to ourselves.
Agreed.
Like you said, anything that you put out there. I used to work corporate as well. I mean, it was entertainment, but it was still corporate, and we were owned by GE. And it was like they would say to us, don't put anything in an email that you would not be comfortable defending on a stand.
Jeez.
Wow.
Oh, and there were definitely, I had emails subpoenaed, and they're like, did you say this? I'm like, I don't know. That was 4 years ago. I don't know. I feel for anyone that has gone through that process. But you almost have to treat your profile that way. And also, like in dating, sometimes too much information is too much.
Right.
It's
right.
overwhelming. So maybe that's not even necessary for your date to really know that before you meet up.
Completely agree.
Well, if you're looking to meet up, I can tell you the exact time and the exact date that you should have your Superwoman change outfit on, that you should be listening to your pre-date playlist, because Match.com, they look at all their data and when people are most active, and they have found that on Sunday, this coming Sunday, the first Sunday of the year, it's always the first Sunday of the year, at 8:55 p.m. Eastern will be the peak time.
They have a specific time? That's crazy.
Peak time, of course. Metrics. This is why we like metrics.
Analytics. There
Analytics. They will be online at 8:55 p.m. Eastern. So if you want to find a date, that is the time to be online. They will see a digital traffic spike of 104% more messages being sent in the 48 hours that begin Sunday at 8:55 p.m. Eastern. They do this every year, and it happens every year that is the peak time. I wonder, psychographically, Evan, what do you think is going on in people's minds that particular Sunday at that particular time?
I think it is a lot of people being like, oh man, I forgot to find love in 2017. Or I, didn't.
Put everything else in front of it?
Right. And so Sunday, the first week of the new year, is crazy. We're all so busy. The weekend comes. Maybe you just want to hibernate after you had a crazy New Year's Eve weekend. Sunday rolls along and you're like, oh, I guess it's time. It's time. I want to maybe line up some dates for this week. I don't want to put this off anymore. And of course, online dating, it's from the comfort of your own home. So Sunday evening, you're probably not going to a bar or going out somewhere looking to meet people in person. You're
getting your life together. Sunday night,
up.
You're being introspective.
Yep.
And then you're like, oh, I just remembered. I got to meet a man. But they're also saying there's going to be like 1 million dates that will be happening, starting this week. We're in peak dating season, they call it, between December 26th and, of course, Valentine's Day. Mm-hmm. So I have lots of tips at DamonaHoffman.com. If you're looking for a date and you want to know, I just put up a new blog on profile tips if you want to do a little refresh on your profile before Sunday. But don't miss this opportunity because there's so many people online. And I'm sure you have lots of resources as well that people can get and tell people how to find you.
Sure. Well, the online membership you mentioned at the beginning is a private Facebook group I run. I post daily insight. We do a monthly online workshop. It's for 20s and 30s women all over the world. All for Love, the AFL is the name of the group. That is a Facebook membership, and we can put the link I believe.
We'll put the link.
Put the link in a post.
And they can also follow you in the URL.
Yeah.
Or your Instagram.
Website, evinlipman.com. That's EVIN.
Well, good. If people follow you, then they might have a chance at getting hitched because we have the first celebrity relationship that has turned into an engagement. Paris Hilton.
Woo.
Who would have thunk it?
What's her catchprise? That's hot,
That's
right?
hot.
That's
yeah,
hot.
Yeah.
That's hot.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Producer Thomas.
Gotta keep my finger on the pulse.
It was hot on New Year's. That was actually New Year's Day was when she got New Year's Eve, New Year's Day.
New Year's Day.
New Year's Day she got engaged. Skiing in Aspen, so it was hot. It was cold, but it was hot.
Yeah, right.
And he proposed on top of the slopes, conveniently with the photographer standing by to give the exclusive
He
people
jumped out of the bushes.
to give people the exclusive access to those photos. Chris Zilka, who you've seen on The Leftovers, he's an actor. He's just 32, and she's 36. So she likes the younger men. I don't know if 4 years makes a big difference.
I don't think at this point in life. I think when we're younger, maybe, but I don't know.
At this point, it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
They met actually 8 years ago when he was but a wee lad, but it didn't really turn into something, and then they reconnected a couple years ago, and it's been pretty fast. Like they've been Instagram official for like less than a year, I think. She announced him on Instagram as her boyfriend like 1 month into dating, so that's a little fast. But they have the history, so I guess that's good. And I mean, we knew it was headed this way when he put a tattoo of her name on his arm.
It's bold.
Really bold. Really bold.
I wouldn't get
And
a tattoo.
massive
I've been
tattoo.
married for 10 years, and I would
Still
not
just
get a
like,
tattoo of my husband's name.
Yeah.
That's
makes me
much,
nervous.
right?
I
It's
think
a
it's
little
much.
much.
Why is it necessary? But I'm really happy for them.
See, she's positive.
Oh, well, I am.
This is good.
I loved The Simple Life. I was a Paris fan. I also
That was like the first real, I mean, other than The Real World, that was the first like reality show that was really, really popular and like out in the public
so good.
eye. Yeah.
So good.
And yeah, she's a trip.
And I like that they met 8 years. I think that's also a hopeful reminder of you just never know, right? Like we go on dates, we're out there, we have little relationships, we kind of plant seeds throughout our lives, and you just never know. Maybe it will be someone that was under your nose the whole time or that you weren't ready for when you connected with the first time.
It's a beautiful thing.
Exciting.
It is exciting. Keep the hope alive, and you like Paris can get hitched this year. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we have questions from you all in our Technically Dating segment. I'm your host, Damona Hoffman, here with my co-host, Evin Rose Lipman of the All for Love Club. You can find her online at evinroselipman.com, as well as on the gram at allforlove_club. We'll be right back after this. If your wedding planning is going anything like mine did, you're stressed to the max right now, and you have no idea what to put on your wedding registry. So, friends, I have just the solution for your wedding planning woes. It's Zola.com. This is no ordinary wedding registry. It's free, easy to use, and it's fun. Zola Registry has everything you love about your favorite department store, plus things like honeymoon funds, fitness classes, wine subscriptions, and so much more. Oh, Zola also lets you customize your registry so you can tell people exactly why you want certain gifts. I wish I had their planning tools when I was getting my married life started off. But this is your big day, and hopefully, if you're following my advice, you'll only do this once. So let's get this right. Sign up today with Zola, and you can get a $50 credit towards your registry with my special code, Zola.com/dates. That's ZOLA.com/dates, DATES. Before my wedding, I remember how badly I wanted a KitchenAid stand mixer, but I didn't have the money to get one myself. So I registered for it with the pasta attachment, of course. And when I came back from my culinary honeymoon in Italy, I could wow my friends with fresh homemade pasta. 10 years later, I'm still impressing them with that same KitchenAid mixer. And with group gifting on Zola Registry, big ticket items like the stand mixer can be split up among friends and family. And their friendly customer service team will go above and beyond to help you pick out the perfect items for your registry or even walk grandma through the purchase process. You know how grandma can be with her iPhone. Oh, and speaking of iPhones, you can manage your registry on the Zola Weddings app for iPhone and Android. So go ahead and register for that KitchenAid stand mixer. You deserve it, and your guests want to get it for you at zola.com/dates. Don't forget to use my special code for your $50 registry credit. That's zola.com, ZOLA.com/dates. Welcome back to Dates and Mates. I'm your host, Damona Hoffman, here to make modern love simple for you. My guest co-host for today, Evin Rose Lipman, is ready and rearing, and she's here to answer your questions and to keep you positive. So I'm expecting only positive answers from you.
Oh, we'll see.
I have to keep it cheeky.
Yeah.
But you can keep it positive.
Okay.
Because we have questions from the Techspert app today, and also Technically Dating is brought to you in partnership with blackpeoplemeet.com. You can always post your questions on the Facebook page for Black People Meet, and they will shuttle them over to us, and they could get answered on a future show. Today's show, we have questions from Techspert. This one comes to us from a young lady who's 27, right in your sweet spot target demographic. She asks Evin, how do I get over an office crush? We work together on literally everything. He gives me zero to little attention. We don't have each other's social media, don't talk after work. We have great chemistry. Everyone sees it, but he never acknowledges it. Even though she said he doesn't give her attention.
Right.
But I still like him. How do I stop thinking about the fact that this guy has no interest in me? I feel like she's asking one question, but the facts are saying something else. What do you feel?
Totally. This guy isn't acknowledging her, she's saying, right? He's not giving her attention. I think she needs to take a look at what is it that she's looking for. Does she think, hopefully she knows that she deserves someone who gives her attention, who's into her.
Yeah, and that was my labored breath. I'm so frustrated with the state of office romance right now because I've been reading studies about how now it's running rampant, really, because we spend so much time at work, and then we're like, there's such a blur between business and personal now that we see people's social media, and then we feel like, oh, we know them personally. And so there's a lot of crossing the lines, and even there was a study that said that millennials think it's a good idea to have a relationship with someone at work. I guess because it's convenient and that can maybe help you get a promotion. But peoples, it's not a good idea. It's actually a bad idea. Things can go very wrong, and then you're crapping where you eat, right?
Totally. And in this particular case, there's not even a romance here.
You're making something out of nothing.
Right.
He's like has good work chemistry with you. Why are you trying to complicate it now? Why are you trying to do that?
Yeah. Let it go, girl. Let it go.
And also, it just, I feel like it's another way that we, as women, set ourselves up for disappointment. Because it's like, oh, well, there's no sign that he actually likes me. But I have feelings for him, and therefore I'm going to torture myself by pursuing him. And she said she doesn't have a social media. But she already did a stalk situation.
Of course.
Because we've all done it.
Yeah, and she says, how do I get over, I think something along the lines of, how do I get over the fact that he isn't into me? And I'd say, it's okay that he's not into you, too. You don't need to be, we're not for everyone, right?
Rejection is God's protection.
Absolutely. It really isn't as personal as it feels. It's about what his deal. We have no idea what his deal is.
He's probably gay.
Probably.
That's what I would always say. Oh, well, he must just be gay. He's just not.
If he turned me down.
Thank you. Right?
Yeah,
right, producer Thomas? He's just gay. No, he's probably not gay, but he's probably like wanting to keep a line between work and love, and just respect that and do your work and be a boss and like let's focus on women earning the same as men in the workplace. Okay,
Yeah.
Let's focus on that.
Go find someone else to crush on. There are plenty of people to crush on.
You can find them
Go
on
out there, find
Instagram.
one.
Totally. Okay, this comes to us from a female who's 21 from the UK. She says, he likes me and I like him, but every time we text, I'm the one asking questions and keeping the conversation going. He hasn't really asked me anything about myself. Why? Why, Evin Rose Lipman? Why?
Well, we don't know why. And to me, that's kind of the point. It doesn't really matter why, right? Maybe he's not that interested. Maybe he's not that curious. Maybe he's just a poor conversationalist and he doesn't know that he should be asking questions. I say take it into your own hands and say to the guy in a, flirty way, okay, your turn. Ask me something. What do you want to know?
With a cute emoji.
Yeah, put it back on him.
Evan, I'd like to waste a lot of time here because this is what we tend to do. We overthink and we overthink. Let's make a list of all the reasons that he could not be doing this. And then let's crumple it up and throw it in the trash because it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter why. It's more about what you do with it. And also, I have to be a realist here. I know you're a positivist, but I'm a realist. If he's not really chasing and pursuing you, he's maybe just not that into you. Maybe he's a low T guy, as Ray used to say. Maybe he's just low T, or maybe he's just not good with texting, or maybe he's just not that into you. But either way, you cannot be the one keeping the conversation going all of the time. And flip the script. Think about, well, if it was a girlfriend, not a girlfriend, but just like a girlfriend, how would you put up with that? Would you let a female friend, kind of not really be that engaged in your text and not ever ask you any questions about yourself? And would you always be the one to text? You probably would let that friendship go. So why do we let guys do that to us?
I think sometimes we feel like we have to put up with that, right? Especially if that's been your experience in the past. We don't realize that there are plenty of people out there who are actually going to meet you where you are and be interested. And
ding, ding, ding.
We gotta, ugh.
That's it, right? We get stuck in the feeling that we've always had, and we like to replicate that feeling. And I bet this is not the first guy and that's done this. And then she turns into chase mode, and then it's like, oh, well, I'm going to be more interesting and more funny and ask him more questions and be more. It's just like, I like your advice. Drop the line and be like, okay, now your turn to ask me something. And then cute emoji. And if he doesn't pick up the ball and run with it, oh my God, you're just wasting your time.
Yeah.
Texting can be such a time waster, can't it?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Let's not do that.
Nope.
Okay, this one comes to us from another lady. I have a lot of lady questions today. She's from Atlanta. She says, Evan, should I worry if my boyfriend won't give me the password to his social media, even though I do trust him? Or is that too childish to worry about?
Why do you need his password if you trust him? Right? I mean, either there's something else going on here that you don't trust him. Either you're suspicious. Has he given you some reason to be suspicious? You guys need to work that out. Or you don't need his password. I think we're allowed to have some privacy, right? I mean, if you think about every text conversation or social media conversation to this woman, I'm saying, that you have with your girlfriends, all the personal things you share, thoughts about your relationship or about your guy, you're allowed to have those conversations that you probably wouldn't want him to be privy to.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think boundaries are good.
Boundaries are healthy.
And I'm sure he's your boyfriend. I'm sure you're friends on social media. You follow him and he follows you, or whatever the social media etiquette is on the site that you prefer, on the app that you prefer. So you can see what he's doing. You don't need his password.
Yeah.
That's doing too much.
Yeah.
What are you posting for him? What are you, a social media manager?
Right.
That's
Running
too much.
PR for him.
Too much.
She wants to see the DMs.
Ooh.
That's what she
Oh,
wants.
okay. Then that says no.
That's right.
That says you don't trust him.
Agreed.
So if there's something that he's done that makes you not feel like you can trust him, you've got to address the elephant in the room, or it will eat you alive.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm glad we worked that out. Let me do one from a guy. He's from Maine. He says, my girlfriend broke up with me over text. She said it was because she didn't want a relationship right now. So I thought it wasn't because she hated me or anything. So I texted her to see if we could just talk in person. But she hasn't responded. And I texted her 5 hours ago. I really need to talk to her in person. Should I just leave her alone or ask her why she isn't responding? Oh, I feel bad for this guy because I feel like he's trying to be mature in this relationship and this girl is trying to be avoidant.
Yeah. Yeah, and that says a lot. The way she's handling this says a lot, I think. I don't think it's going to be helpful to be pressuring her within the same day, tell me why you're avoiding me. If she's not going to respond, she's not going to respond right now. I think he's going to need to find some ways to calm himself down, soothe his own anxiety, go be with some friends, distract himself or something, and give her a little bit of space. Not that it's fair to him, but we can't force people to act the way that we want them to act.
But how tacky is that to break up with someone over text?
Happened to me.
Really? Tell me the story.
Long time ago. But I had, this was early in college, a guy I'd been seeing for off and on for years, broke up with me in a text and then turned his phone off. So of course, my instinct, like this poor young man, was to call him as soon as I got that text and demand all of the answers and get all of the reassurance that I needed. And it was just radio silence for a day or two. And same thing, just avoidance, just not wanting to deal with it.
So, I mean, that was back before you were a life coach, a love coach. What did you do? Did you just curl up into a ball and want to die? Or did you have this positivity back then where you were like, I'm going to go do something?
No, I freaked out.
Yeah.
No, I definitely freaked out. I remember just like walking around my street aimlessly, being angsty and listening to like Dashboard Confessional.
Strong play.
Right? But eventually I kind of came to the point, and I guess this is my advice for this guy, is, we know that we don't deserve to be treated that way. And it doesn't tell us anything about us. It doesn't tell us anything about the dumpy, right? The fact that this person's being so avoidant and disrespectful is telling us about that person. Is that someone you want to be in a relationship with? It's hard to go through, but it probably also, you needed to find that out, that this person does not have the emotional maturity or the care for you or the communication skills or whatever it is that you need probably in a partner.
Totally. Okay, this is like a multi-part question. This is going to be our last question of the day. So this one comes to us from a female who's 29. She asks, how do I approach the guy that I've been dating for 6 months about needing clarity on what we're doing? You know what she means by what we're doing, right?
Oh, yeah.
What the heck is going on in this relationship? Okay, and then she has bullet points. So she's very organized. She said, we have had the exclusive talk and agreed to not see other people. I've met his good friend once briefly. I have never met his family. He's never met my friends. I don't want to have a huge conversation, but I want him to want to date me. If not, I don't want to invest any more emotionally. I love how that she says she doesn't want to have a huge conversation.
Right.
This is life we're talking about. You're 29.
Yeah.
Let's have a huge conversation because this is like the tip of the relationship iceberg, okay? And it's only, the conversations are only going to get huger and huger, okay?
Totally.
All right. Let's help her, since she's so organized, let's help her organize her thoughts to prepare for this conversation now that I've told her very forcefully that it will be a huge conversation.
Yeah. It will
or not.
be.
I
No.
mean, or not, but it's an evolving conversation. It's the beginning of a long, huge conversation.
Sure. I think
The long, huge conversation.
she needs to figure out what it is, first of all, that she wants, right? She hasn't even said in this question. She says she wants to know what he's thinking or what they're doing, as if she's just at his mercy.
You're so astute. Yes.
So what is she? I mean, is this someone that you say you don't want to invest any more emotionally if she doesn't get the clarity she needs? So
she wants him to want to date her. You know, it's like that. Oh, don't you want me? Yeah.
So what does that mean to you? Because if that's all she says to him, he's going to be like, I am dating you or not seeing other people.
Yeah, they had the talk. She met his one friend.
His one friend
That
once.
one time.
His singular friend.
I mean, meeting the family, 6 months-ish is about when you can expect that. But she said he's never met her friends. So isn't that up to her to change that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I would even say, you know, when you were first reading the question, I was thinking, okay, she wants a label or she wants to know if he's... But to me, I wouldn't want to take that step until we've gotten to know each other's friends and seen if we can fit into one another's communities. That's so important.
Yeah, that is really true. And also, I just have to be really honest. You're 29. Like, you don't have a lot of time to waste because this is a crucial time. It's not that you have to be ready to settle down yet, but it's that if you stay in this relationship for 2 years longer than you should, now you're 32, and then the pool becomes a little bit more challenging, and then you get into panic mode. Mm-hmm. And I just want to like help her avoid panic mode because it's not a cute place to be.
It's not. And just the emotional toll it takes to be in something for months or years on end with someone who's not...
There's that.
You know? I mean...
Not that into you. So I think, yes, she has to figure out what she wants. Mm-hmm. And then the conversation doesn't have to be huge off the bat. I think what you lead with is, this is where I am in the relationship and this is what I want. Are you in this place? Or is there something I should know about what you want right now?
Right.
And to kind of leave it open-ended and also be brave enough to accept the response that you're given. Because that's the thing that I feel like a lot of people aren't really willing to do, and that's why we end up in go nowhere relationships for too long. We don't actually want the answer.
Right. Right. We have to be prepared. If we say we're not going to emotionally invest after a certain point, we have to be prepared to actually close that door, to know that we deserve more and that our time is better spent elsewhere. If someone isn't going to jump to the occasion, someone should be so excited 6 months in to be dating you and moving forward with you. And if he's not, girl, you can do better.
Yes, I'm totally with you. And now is the time, I think, for her to really figure those things out and examine herself. It's 2018. Ooh. And Evin Lipman, I'm so glad that you're here with us. And I'm so glad because you're going to be the first one to do the new dating ... questions. I promised that I would have new questions for our guest co-host. So in this segment, I am going to say a phrase and you will complete it with your first instinct love advice, because that's always, the best advice is always the first that you give.
Got it.
So, Evin, you're in the hot seat. Are you ready?
Ready.
Number 1, the worst pickup line ever is...
Anything that is so vulgar that I shouldn't say it on this show.
Oh, she's smart. Number 2, the best place to go on a first date is...
Oh, first date, somewhere cozy and casual, like your cozy neighborhood bar, coffee shop, low key.
Number 3, the sexiest thing about a woman is...
Authenticity.
Ooh, love it. Number 4, the sexiest thing about a man is...
Authenticity.
I was going to say abs, but okay.
Oh, both.
Number 5.
Alliteration.
The most important thing for a relationship to last is...
For a relationship to last, remembering that you're on the same team as your partner. Being willing to be a team.
I love that.
Even through the hard stuff and disagreements and all that.
Great advice. And you're so sharp and quick-witted. I love that about you. And hopefully you will come back and join us again on Dates and Mates. So people can find you online at Evin, E-V-I-N, Evin Lip. Oh, I said it wrong last time.
It's okay.
Oopsies. Okay, rewind the last. Okay, Evin, E-V-I-N, Lipman, Lipman.com. Mm-hmm. And on the socials at all4love_club. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
To close out today's show, I want to talk to you about something. You know how I do this little diatribe business. Well, it's a new year, and I have something to talk to you about.
Ready, set, go.
A vision without a plan is just an idea. So people come to me wanting to change their love lives around. They spent months or even years or even decades, really, fantasizing about who they are looking for and what they want their life to be when they meet them, and yet they are without a plan. And what I do is help people create a plan to meet their man or woman. So some claim that this is an unromantic approach, but to me, nothing is more unromantic than being alone and longing for someone to spend your days and nights with. So if you want love, you've got to show up for it. Having a vision, a wish, a dream is just not enough. There's a famous quote, a goal with a dream is a deadline. A goal is a dream with a deadline. I screwed up my own quote. A goal is a dream with a deadline. And I would say that a vision without a plan is just an idea. So isn't it time that you turn your ideas into reality? There's never been a better time in history to find love. An opportunity is all around you, but without a plan, it's easy to become overwhelmed or discouraged. Not this time. If you truly desire a mate above all else this year, you need to approach it differently than you have in the past. And it's time to create a plan to find your man and to follow through. You can follow me at DamonaHoffman.com and get your exclusive invitation to the group that I will be leading to help you change your love life in 2018. Thank you so much to my friends at blackpeoplemeet.com, the premier online dating site for black singles. You can download the Textpert app, also post your questions there and dole out some advice of your own. Subscribe to the show on iTunes and you get it the first. You would be the first to get the show. You can get it on Apple Podcasts, and don't forget to leave a review. And also, I wanted to say congratulations to our Splendies winner from 2 weeks ago. We had a Splendies contest. She's won 6 months of cutie undies in the mail like these. Tracy R. Blue on Twitter. Congratulations to you. And congratulations if you've made a resolution to find love and be positive in 2018. We'll be back next week. We'll be talking about the real deal on chemistry. Until then, happy dating.